big dreams in regards to the young people in my community nationwide. Y'all already know I have an initiative September 5th. If you're a man and you can hear my voice, September 5th, I want you to get together with one other brother, two other brothers, 10 other brothers, 50 other brothers. If you're on the East Coast or in the South, Eastern Standard Time at 3 o'clock. If you're in the Midwest, at 2 o'clock or in the South. If you're on Western Pacific Standard Time, at noon. I want all of us to get together within groups. And I'm going to put it on my website, theenterthebench.com. I want the brothers to get together, and I'm going to have a pledge for us on the 5th of September. And pledge that we'll be better men for our communities. But I also have dreams for our young people. The sad part is, since this George Floyd thing, our children are being murdered at an alarming rate. And it's easy to just go black on black crime. You can think whatever you want to think. I really don't care. I'm not going to have that debate ever again. I promise you, I'll never have that debate with another person ever again. But it's just awful. It's just some things are coincidental, and some things are just flat out strange. And it's just amazing that in the midst of this uprising, this racial pandemic, this physical pandemic, this Black Lives Matter thing, all of a sudden our kids are getting hurt. Look at it any way you want. I'm a conspiracy theorist at heart. I'm a cynic at heart. So write me off as that, write it off as what I'm saying is that. But it's just awful strange that in the midst of a bunch of people coming together, our folks are getting hurt. Our young folks are getting hurt nationwide. Seems kind of strange to me. May not seem strange to you. You can write it off as, oh man, cats in the hood just ignorant. But people don't get dumber overnight. You can look at it any way you want. You can figure it out any way. You can add whatever, add, subtract, multiply, divide, whatever you want into that. But the thing just seems strange to me that our young people, right in the midst of all this foolishness, our young people are getting hurt at an alarming rate. Take it any way you want. But I want us to engage with our young people. Let's start speaking to our young people. Stop being scared to speak and speaking because you're scared. Stop doing that. I really think we need to just engage with them. We need to start going to these community meetings. We need to come with answers. Potential answers to the problem, or support somebody with answers. I beg that of you. That's it. Another thing is this. We want to empower our youth. Yeah, today I'm going hard on the young people because I'm tired, man. I'm tired of everybody kicking our young folks in the ass. I think our young people are awesome. And contrary to popular belief, our young people are not doing anything special or outstanding. Oh man, you see all the young people out there in the protest. Old people don't protest. Dr. King was murdered at age 39. Malcolm X was murdered at age 39. That's not a young person, but just imagine they had been doing it 10, 15 years before they got murdered. People out there between 23 and 30 years old. That's the age you usually do it. Stokely Carmichael, college graduate. Fred Hampton, college graduate. Huey P. Newton. Most people don't even honor the fact that he's PhD Huey P. Newton. Bobby Seals, professor. These dudes were college educated. Geronimo Pratt was a former military person. That means he spent at least 4 years in the military. That makes him at least 18, 22 years old while he was out there Black Panther. Sister Angela Davis, who you heard on the show earlier, college educated. So this is the traditional age. So what we have to do is, to quote Chuck D, fight off this nonsense that Viacom has put out there, making teenagers 27 years old again. A teenager, you're 27 years old, you're doing your damn thing. You know what I mean? You're a full-grown adult. But we're not encouraging our young people to do that. because they took vocation out the schools, and then our kids hit the streets. Everybody not built for college, and they don't have any guidance. They have very little direction. And when you don't have any guidance and very little direction, and your parents are struggling, you might end up doing something nefarious that is a detriment to your community, and that's what's happening to our young people. They're not just innately evil or bad or anything of that nature, because they sit and we set our kids as a nation. We set our kids in front of the TV, and then you got the Booty and Titty Network, BET. You got MTV. You got whatever channel them damn housewives and hip hop shows come on, and we got young people believing that's an appropriate way to act, and it's not. And that's due to lack of attention nationwide, if you ask me. And nobody asked me, but that's what the hell I'm telling you. That's how I see it. And another thing, this is gonna rub some people wrong. Some of y'all from cut off the show. But hey, it is what it is. I'm gonna get some more fans next week, hopefully. But I'm gonna let it be known. Integration has fucked us in the ass too, people. See, if you disagree, I understand that. But I want you to hear me out. We're called racist when we say we should shop with black people. We're called racist when we tell our young people you should go to HBCU, and people run this at us. Well, isn't that segregation? Didn't y'all fight against segregation? No, we didn't fight against segregation. We fought for equality. Our ancestors fought for equality. They didn't fight for segregation. Because we were fine. We wanted a fair chance. But the more we segregated and splintered into other communities, our better people left our communities and left people who were disenfranchised behind. A lot of people disagree with me, and that's cool. Disagreeing is part of life. That's what a conversation is. I say something, you counter it. But all I know is this. For 1968, before the segregation thing started in the 70s, we owned our own businesses. 1960, our literacy rate was 88%. 88% of the people were reading at the level that they should be reading at. Now, we segregated. We went into other communities. Our shining stars went into other communities, made their light shine brighter. All of a sudden, your president, Richard Milhouse Nixon, he created this war on drugs. They pumped dope in the form of more heroin, more cocaine, marijuana, barbiturates into our communities. At the same time, they removed music and arts from our schools. When they saw that wasn't working in the 80s, all of a sudden this mysterious germ came about. It's called acquired immune deficiency syndrome. And they removed vocation from our school. Electronics, tool and die, woodwork, construction. They removed all that from our kids because, I went to a vocational high school. I left high school certified metal technician. I had the ability to have an apprenticeship to go do that. Welding was in my high school. Everything, business administration and things of that nature. Because again, college isn't for everyone. College is not for everyone. But these things gave our children options. And when you have options, you have less time to do negative things. Now, you graduate from high school, you don't have nothing to do. You're going to go to the military, go to college, accrue some debt, accrue $100,000 in debt. Guidance counselors are almost non-existent in our community. So young people don't even have direction. So when you don't have direction, as your grandmother, my grandmother, and most of our grandmothers and mothers have said, idle mind is the devil's workshop. So our kids are not innately bad, they just don't have anything to do. When you listen to people like, I'm quoting him a lot, I'm referencing him a lot today because he's been on my mind. You see the great Chuck D. His mother ran in Long Island, New York, ran a youth center where they did acting and things of that nature. Those things don't exist anymore. So I can't even, my creative juices are stuck inside of me. I can't create and get it out of me. I'm frustrated. I'm poor. I'm frustrated. I'm disenfranchised. I'm frustrated. But I can get high and I can get a gun. And then we got people looking at us crazy. See, the sad part about this, y'all, what I'm saying, the great W.B. Du Bois, he predicted this in 1963. He said the question is, I'm paraphrasing, the question is, what are we going to do once our communities are integrated and less of your personality is there to be held? See, we don't uphold our traditions. We don't uphold our rituals, and we're left twisted in the wind. I learned this week from an attorney, Lori Favors. In the early 1900s, a lot of people from the Jewish community was they were coming from Europe, they were coming over here. So they set up schools, and I've mentioned this with my buddy Nick Kalamalosakis. He a Greek cat. They got Greek schools, they got Hebrew schools, and they're taught rituals. And here's the sad thing. Even overseas, 70% of the people in that country don't even follow the religion the way you should. But they still know the rituals. What are our rituals? Where's the reason I rail on the reason I rail on segregation the way I do is because we pick up other people's things, like celebrating St. Patrick's Day, celebrating what's the Cinco de Mayo, and other holidays, and we don't do anything for our own things. I literally saw somebody on Juneteenth say, I never heard of Juneteenth before, which is not a problem because it's more like a Southern thing anyway. What do? Well, be proud of who you are. It takes a second to look into these things, and then we can create a tradition. But when our kids don't have tradition and they dressing up in green and they drinking, we drinking margaritas and getting busted on Cinco de Mayo, and other people celebrating their independence, we didn't even know how to celebrate our own. And these are not shots at my brothers and sisters out here that didn't know these things. It's really not. Because all you have to do is look up the history of the Daughters of Confederacy. It's a 4-series book. It's a book made 4 series. You'll find out why you don't know. This is a systematic destruction of a people. Even something as simple as the word coon. It's a derivative of a word barracoon. Barracoon is where they used to put the slaves, and some slaves would act very nice in hopes to not get those lashes, in hopes not to be going in another place that they don't want to go. And that's what we call coons today. They kissing ass so they won't be put in that bad situation too. But you're going to be put in that bad situation because we allow ourselves to be put in those bad situations. So while we used to call it barracoons, now we just call them coons. See, it's little things like this that we need to know about each other in our community to continue to build pride. And when you build that pride, you will have less violence. You will have less destruction. Because when you build pride, pride makes you like you. And when you like you can't be stopped. But when you don't like you, I don't have no problem hurting Chris Christie. I don't have no problem hurting Lisa Duke. I don't have no problem hurting Chief Rocker. Because I don't like me. So why would I give a damn about hurting one of them? And whether you want to agree with me or not, all you have to do is look up Dr. Joyce DeGruy. She'll teach you about the post-traumatic slave syndrome. See, these are not just things, these are not just cockamamie ideas there's rap popping off about. Your boy, I do a little something, you know, I do a little on the study side of the game. Because I like being me, man. I like me, man.